Okay. Hello, everyone. My name is Bridget Richardson. I'm the Assistant Director of Ecumenical and Pastoral Initiatives with the Nesti Center for Faith and Culture. And I'm here today with Father Binh, our director, and he's going to talk about the 5 languages of apology.
Okay, hello, Bridget, and hello, everyone. It's good to be back again.
Yeah, we always look forward to hearing from you on Mondays. So tell us, how are you doing with everything? Are you doing well?
I'm doing very well. I spend a lot of time reading and meditating and go deep into myself and try to deal with a lot of things that I did not get the time to do that. And sometimes it's just, when you are free, when you are quiet, and there's a lot of images from your own unconsciousness coming up into my dreams, and into my own kind of reflection, pondering. And, there's a lot of things that's got into our own quietness of the heart, allow us to be able to get in touch with these kind of images. And then allow us to tap in and to integrate these experiences from our past because of our busyness, because of our own lack of focus. We have ignored them, and they are part of our lives. They are part of our own experiences, and sometimes it's good for us to take time and to look into it. And this is the time for us just to use our own time to go deep, just superficially dealing with our own feelings or experiences. We can just turn over all of the stone and look deep into it. And then just like sometimes the last time I may share with you all of you, that sometimes it's good for us to just to unwrap a lot of packages that God sent into our life in and through all of the experiences, whether we like it or not. Some of the packages are part of the gifts that our own life has been given to us, and some of the people have been sending to us. Some people we like, and the gifts, we think this has a lot of meaning, so we like to open these gifts right away. Especially being sent from someone we know and someone we love and someone appreciate us and respect us. But if those who hurt us, who have said something was really verbally abusive, or maybe they have done something hurting us, these packages we sometimes just don't want to open. Right. Sometimes we just want to put in the closet, and sometimes we just want to trash, just get rid of them. Whether we think that we was able to get rid of them, but some of these packages are still there. God in and through our own kind of reluctance to admit, to open these gifts. God keep it there, and then sometime when the time is coming, the time is right, God will make us remember, and then we remembrance is part of make present the things of the past. Sometimes it's the making presence, the thing of the past help us become more mature, more integrated. We can say that we grow up a little bit because we integrate more. We take these kind of negative experiences, some of the packages that we have been through in our life, and to open them up and see what is the meaning, the value of these packages. And sometimes it make us shed tears, make us feel uncomfortable. But it's good for us to go deep into our own feelings and recognize that, in and through our feelings, there are needs. And these packages God sent along to wake us up, to make us become more conscious, more aware of what's going on in our life. And I think so. Last week I talked about the 5 languages of love. I just want to have a kind of an overview of it. The first one is affirmation. We need to affirm one another. We need to give thanks for the qualities of what they have been doing for us. and we need to give praise to the quality of his or her heart. And so the second language is service. We have to really make ourselves as being the servant of the servants, like Jesus, a servant serving all of us. Washing one another's feet, that means caring for one another basic needs. And then as husbands, why we should do that more often. As friends, we should do it more often. Now we have the social distance. We cannot do that kind of touching things, but at least you can call, you can give a lot of words of affirmations, work of thanksgiving, word of praise, and then you just care enough to take time with your spouse, with your children, to offer them the services like cooking for them, providing the best environment for them to live, and to reorder your house. There's so many things we can do. Sometimes it's so messy. Our bedroom and our living room, our kitchens. There's a lot of things we can do. That kind of inventory, and to get rid of that. Those are works of service, and the gift of yourself, make yourself present to the other persons. Give them the quality of time. That's another language. And then now you can touch someone who is close to you. You touch them with a sense of awareness of the significance of their own life, their own dignity. Okay, those are 5 languages: affirmation, service, gift, touch, quality of time. Now we talk about 5 languages of apology.
Which is so needed right now when everybody's in their house together. You need to know how to apologize and say, I'm sorry.
I just on the Zoom today, and then someone said that maybe there's an increase of violence,
right,
because we don't know how to handle one another anymore. Yeah. Because in the past, we can run away, we can go to our office, we can get ourselves busy with our works, and we can get ourselves distracted with all the hobbies, all the sports that we are doing, and all of the self-addiction, go shopping, go and buy things, or just get drunk, and just stop our heart addictions. Even now, gambling, people cannot go to gambling anymore.
Right. You do anything.
And so there's a lot of things being taken away from us, and those are self-addictions, Mm-hmm. And then heart addictions. Maybe it's good that we need to instead of relying on these things as being the security blankets or the escape, the means to escape from facing ourselves or facing the problems of our relationship. I think now this is good for us to just not simply become passive, aggressive. Yeah. Mm-hmm. We can be more proactive in using our time to be able to make our life more constructive. Mm-hmm. Constructive in what? In actively involved with one another in dealing with some of the areas that we need to be reconciled.
Right. Okay. And right now there might be some areas where we need reconciliation.
And I think what I'm saying is sometimes I think it's just affirmation is important, but also to be able to be honest enough, be truthful enough to admit that there are areas that we don't get along, that we had conflicts, that we have been experienced discomfort, disconnectedness. Irreconcilable kind of feelings. And now how do we reconcile? How can we become reconnected? How can we have that intimacy, that deeper sense of oneself and of the other person, especially the other person's significance and difference? So I just suggest to you 5 languages of apology. Mm-hmm. The first one is what you call expressions of regret. I mean, just like say, I'm sorry, there's so many things that we did to one another for years. We never take time to be honestly, truthfully, from the bottom of our heart to say, I'm sorry. Mm-hmm. I did For instance, I said some things to my significant one, and I did not adequately say I'm sorry.
Right.
And that's still, almost like the blockage in her heart. And then every time something happens, she always brings back that memory. And that hurts her or him. And sometimes it's good for us to go into it and say, at that time, I said this to you, and I did this to you. And whether I was intentional or unintentional, I hurt you. And from the bottom of my heart, I want to tell you that I'm very, very sorry for that.
And you're talking about not just saying the words, but breaking it down so that you kind of...
You go back to that, name the specific event.
Right.
And if you can remember what you said, and just refresh the memory of the person that you are hurting.
Right. You're almost healing that memory by doing that together.
And sometimes that person says, I forgot about that. Actually, he or she may not forget at all, but we don't want to admit that we want to hold on to the grudges, Right. So sometimes it's good for us to take initiative as being the offender, to say, for instance, we can just start, if you can remember years ago, or at that time when I said this to you, I really hurt you, and I just, on my part, I want to tell you how sorry I am. I have no courage to admit the problem. I've been holding on to it for so many years. It has been almost like it's bothering me, it hurt me, but I need to tell you how sorry I am. I know I hurt you so much. Do you remember it? Can you accept my apology?
Right.
I just want to tell you I'm sorry, and let the other person respond to you. She may forget it. But that doesn't mean that you don't have the responsibility to say sorry.
Right.
And she may remember, but she just want to admit it. You just watch her nonverbal communication, watch the tears in her eyes, how she was touched by what you said. That's really, maybe that's where the area that you need to at least to express the idea that you regret or regret because you did that or you said that, okay? And say, I'm sorry from the bottom of your heart, not just superficially. I think usually in our society now there's so many people who say, I'm sorry, but they don't even put their hearts and their minds into what they are saying. They completely unintentionally in saying what they're saying. So I'm talking about the intentionality. You have the disposition of the heart and the intentionality in saying, I'm sorry. Okay. The second language of apology is with accepting responsibility for one's behavior. For instance, I broke the vase. You see, the kid often say that, Father, Mother,
I think Father Ben's
did it, I did it. I broke it. And so I think it's good for us to accept the responsibility of our behavior.
Yeah.
After you say you're sorry, you go back and say that, what I said, what I did at that time was inappropriate, was not right.
Right. And I think that sometimes people, even in their apology, they try to call out the fault of the other person.
Yes, but you scapegoating,
right.
projecting your problems onto someone else. I think accepting one's responsibility is the indication of maturity, the indication of your true intentionality, and the true dispositions of the heart was willing to change.
Right.
willing to do the compensation. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And the third language, the third language apology is offering to make restitution.
Mm-hmm.
Offering to make restitution. What do I do to make things right for us? What do I do to make things right for us? Now it's top of relationship. It's not you alone. I'm not just doing that for your sake, make you feel good.
Yeah.
But what do I need to do after I admit my responsibility? After I saying sorry and admit my responsibility, what I did, now what do I do to make things right for us?
And Father Ben, how would you even counsel people in that situation when I know sometimes if you ask, your spouse, what do you want me to do? They hate that question because, what do you want me to do? Don't ask me what you want to do. How do you help coach them through that dialogue?
That's true, because it's almost like put everyone on the spot, Yeah. You did something wrong. You know what you need to do. I mean, after you say that, that's why I'm saying, how do I do? How, not what.
Oh, yes.
My question is how, not what. How do I do to make things right for us? Okay, the difference between how and what is different.
Right.
The attitude, the way, the manner in which I'm doing things, not just doing things.
Yeah.
I think, and the things, the what will come after that.
Right, that makes sense, because
it makes sense, because I think people just jump over the how and then go to the what, and the what sometimes you do a lot of good things, but these are coming out of a sense of refusal to admit that you have responsibility. You're trying to manipulate the other person to feel like you are sorry, you're taking responsibility, but you actually in your heart you're not. Right. There's no authenticity in that. So that's why the how telling you are now humble enough to tell the other, to listen to the other person. Now I heard you. I did all of these things to you. What are the suggestions you make to me to change my behavior in such a way that I really show you I respect you.
That's a completely
different. There's a big difference. And a lot of people jump so fast to the what and they forget the how. Okay. The how is always important. It's the intentionality and the disposition of the heart. When the heart is right, that's why St. Augustine said, love and do what you want, Yeah. If you don't love correctly, then you can often do the wrong things all the time. You can repeat the same mistakes over and over again. If you change your heart, the quality of your heart, the disposition of the heart, the intentionality of your will and your mind and your heart, then you will know what you need to do. Actually, you should not expect the other person to tell you what to do.
Right.
And then that question means, how do I do to make things right for us? That means you're humble enough to listen to the other person express their feelings. Okay? Yeah. Regarding you.
Yeah.
That's a big difference between the how and the what. Yeah. Okay? Okay? The fourth language is genuinely repenting. Because genuinely repentant. That means expressing the desire to change. You really want to change.
Okay.
Now you want to change.
Together, right?
You change not simply you change your behavior, your mindset, your attitude. You don't just you don't just do things, but you change your attitude, your mind, and your view, your way of looking at her, at him. Okay, that's a deep kind of go deep to the root, the foundational aspects of your personality. What's causing you to do all the behaviors? Now you address the root cause of the problems.
Mm-hmm.
And that is a deep change, a deep modification of your defects of characters.
Mm-hmm.
So there is a willingness in our Catholic teachings, spirituality called conversion of heart.
Mm-hmm.
Conversion of heart, you know.
And by putting that out there, you're almost opening to your spouse, I want you to be a part of this conversion.
And you have to verify that I am doing that. I'm not just saying
Right.
verbally, but I want to commit myself. It's a commitment of the will
Mm-hmm.
and of the heart to the process of conversion, and
Right.
inviting the other person to bear witness to it.
Mm-hmm.
To my engaging in the process of conversion,
Right.
of changing of my heart, my attitude, my mind.
Mm-hmm.
Everything's, all of your behaviors, your actions, coming from what? From your mindset.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes we have distorted perception of the reality of the other person, and sometimes we have a very wrong attitude.
Yeah.
A bad disposition of the heart.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes it's just a dialogue, not only with the other person, but dialogue with God here, so that you can take a long, loving look at yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And asking God to help you. And sometimes you are powerless. So a willingness to change, it takes a lot. Humility and the honesty to take a long look at your behaviors. And the root cause of all of your behaviors is what attitude that causes you to do those things.
Mm.
Okay?
Yeah.
So you dig deep enough. Huh?
Mm-hmm.
And number 5, will you forgive me?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Asking the other person to forgive you. And you have to be open enough that he or she not ready.
Right.
You cannot expect, because you did 1, 2, 3, and 4, and you speak the 4 language apology. You say that I'm sorry, I did it, and then how do I do to make things right? And then expressing the desire to change. The other person is not ready.
Right.
They will not forgive you right away. It's okay to wait.
Mm.
Okay, because forgiveness is not the same thing like forgetfulness. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
you have to remember the 5 languages of love. The last one, will you forgive me? It very much depend on the nature of the event, the hurt,
Mm-hmm.
the violations.
Mm-hmm.
If it's minor, then it's easy to forgive. Major is hard.
Right.
We talk about the marital infidelity.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's not an easy. It's a major thing. It's not an easy thing to forgive and to forget. You cannot expect the other person to forgive you right away.
Right.
You have to earn the trust first. So there are 5 things that you have to remember. There's a difference between forgiveness. Forgiveness does not destroy our memory.
Mm-hmm.
It will not destroy our memory. Forgiveness does not destroy our memory. The hurt, the pain is still there.
Mm-hmm.
I may forgive you, but the memory of being hurt by you, being violated by you, being disrespected by you, is still there. It's taken me years. I have to see I have to verify that your intentionality is authentic, is sincere.
Mm-hmm.
Then slowly I gain the trust enough that I can slowly forget it.
Right.
But don't expect that the forgiveness will remove memory. No, it will not.
Mm-hmm. And
that's the first thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. The second thing, forgiveness does not destroy the emotion caused by the memory. Yeah, and sometimes we think that forgiveness will destroy the emotion caused by the memory. The memory is there. When every time you think of it, you will have certain kind of emotion. Yeah, and it's natural for you to feel hurt, sadness, being, and all of these feelings that you have.
Mm-hmm.
But recognize that doesn't mean that you haven't forgiven.
Right.
But maybe you have forgiven him, but it's the feelings you have to work with. So the person who being offended, sometimes we have to work through the process of forgive and forget and let go, and work through the process of appropriate or integrate the feelings and see how the feelings are what are my needs. The needs that the other person did not give me, the need to be appreciated, to be understood, to be cared for, and into the act of betrayal. Have the needs. I've been sacrificed for the family for the last 30 years. Suddenly you disregarded me,
right?
And it just hurts me like hell.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah? And you think that I can just look at your face and I can just forget all of these things? Right. I can just forget all of the feelings that I have? No, it's not an easy thing. Right. Don't expect too much, and you think that after you say sorry, after you admit that you did something wrong, after you say I want to change and everything like that, and you expect the other person have to forget everything. That's not easy. So you don't have to. You have to carry all of the consequences of your behavior sometimes, and that's part of doing penance. Huh? Okay.
And can a couple work together to unpack that, or do they probably need someone?
So you have to understand that then you become realistic. Mm-hmm. And sometimes we being the offenders, expecting the other persons are so Christian-like, Mm-hmm. But sometimes you need to recognize that the psychological aspect is a process. Right. It's not something that you can work through so fast. Mm-hmm. And sometimes I think we spiritualize everything. Mm-hmm. We jump over psychology into spirituality. Right. And that's not healthy. Okay. Mm-hmm. And the residue of emotional hurt still there. Mm-hmm. And so that's why it's good for us to admit that. So forgiveness also does not remove all the consequences of sins. Mm-hmm. Okay? Forgiveness does not remove all the consequences of sins. You did something wrong. You violated someone. You hurt someone. And then you have to pay for the consequences of your sins. Right. Even yourself have the memory of those acts. Right. Even yourself have the guilt feelings. Mm-hmm. All these things you have to work. You expect everything is in the other person. No, you have to work with it. The consequence of your sins, of your behaviors, which is inappropriate behaviors, mm-hmm. You still have the effects on you. Mm-hmm. Yes. So we need to work at it. Okay. Forgiveness does not rebuild trust. It may open the door to rebuild trust, but it does not rebuild trust right away. And then finally, forgiveness does not guarantee reconciliation. Okay, so all of these 5 aspects of forgiveness does not destroy our memory, does not destroy our emotion caused by the memory, does not remove all the consequences of sin, does not rebuild trust. It's only open the door to rebuild trust, and this does not guarantee reconciliation. That means we need to dialogue. Mm-hmm. That's why we need to go back to the 5 languages of apology. We need to dialogue all the time. We need to take time to allow the other people to express their feelings of the memory of the hurt of the past. Mm-hmm. You have to allow them to slowly roll into appreciation of you, in affirmations of your own intentionality to change, Mm-hmm. And then begin to learn to trust you again. So it takes time. That's why the language of apology is really difficult language. Mm-hmm. You need to learn to be humble. You need to learn to be patient, and you need to learn to be to let go of unrealistic expectations. Mm-hmm. And you need to be able to be present at the present moment. and to risk everything and to journey the community of the other person and to love that person as who or she is with all of the memories, all of the emotions attached to the feeling, the memories, and all of the things that's going on inside. When you begin to pay attention to these people, and you care for them, you respect them, you love them enough, then they begin to turn around and say, now I know that you love me. Yeah. You truly love me. Then at that time, then you have the sense of intimacy. Because you begin to feel there is someone who really take time to be with me and to be honest with me and to try to do something to rectify our relationship and our relationship with one another. So it's a beautiful thing. So I don't think married couples can experience intimacy if they don't learn to speak the language of apology. The language of apology, the 5 languages of apology is foundational for you to speak the 5 languages of love.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, if you don't speak the language of apology, that means you have not deal with the problems of the differences between your personality and my personality and the backgrounds, the family of origins, and the educational kind of background or the psychological, emotional, and educational development process, causing us to be so different. Sometimes we assume that we make assumption that the other person is so similar. When you have the romantic love, you think that the other person is so much like you. No.
No. No.
And when you get into marriage for a few months and you begin to have the illusion and disillusionment, and you say, God, how come I didn't see the other person? Like I see him or her now.
Yeah.
Okay? That's why human beings, we make mistakes, we hurt one another. That's why we need to learn to forgive one another and reconcile one another. When you learn to speak the languages of apology, you know what? Sooner or later, you will know how to speak the language of love.
Yeah. And
you become ambassadors of mercy to one another.
Yeah.
That is foundation for the language of love, And you talk about forgiveness and reconciliations is at the heart of the gospel of Christ.
Mm-hmm. I was just thinking a lot of what you're talking about could be an exercise that we use during this Holy Week to make sure that we're practicing that language of apology.
You look at Jesus when he was nailed on the cross. Yeah. What are the final words that he said? Father, forgive them because they do not know what they have done. He was really speaking the language of forgiveness and mercy. And mercy is really in through that experience of mercy we experience love. Mm-hmm. Love without mercy is not love. Right. It's poetic love, but it's romantic love. But the love which we experience in through the struggles, the conflicts, the pain and the hurts, and then we learn to reconcile with one another. Then we later on know how to spend the best time with one another. And we will not continue to hurt one another anymore. Mm-hmm. We maybe sometimes we unintentionally, but one we will catch ourselves doing that, and we immediately learn to say, "I'm sorry."
Right. Well, thank you so much, Father Binh. This has been wonderful. Thank you for sharing the 5 languages of apology with us, and I'm so excited. Monday will be Easter Monday, so we won't talk then, but we'll talk again pretty soon. So thank you so much for sharing that with us.
I just want to say one more thing I want to add, okay? Mm-hmm. The foundations for forgiveness and reconciliation is mercy. Mm-hmm. The fruit of forgiveness and reconciliation is unity. Mm-hmm. And at 1 month, atonement, Jesus on the cross become the atonement for human sins. Mm-hmm. Atonement, if you break that word down, at 1 month.
Mhm.
Only in and through the experience of mercy, of forgiveness, of reconciliation, we become united together. So husband and wife, if you want to have that intimacy, that unity,
Mhm.
then you have to go through the process of become reconciled with one another. You need to work hard and to name the areas that need to be reconciled. And when you be able to reconcile one another in those areas of conflicts, of hurts or pains, then you become united in Christ's love. And then the gift of redemptive love, or the gift of Christ's mercy, be truly the gift of Easter for each one of us. Okay, thank you.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, Father Binh. And thank you, everyone, for watching. And Father, have a good day, and we'll be in touch.
Have a good Holy Week.
Yes,
Okay,
you
bye-bye.
too. Bye.
Bye.